Well, hello everyone, and welcome to this show. It's probably going to be a long one, and you're going to see a lot of interruptions for reasons that become apparent as you watch. So I have to tell you, this is the first video that we're going to do on the machine we just patched up that ended up being just a completely new machine except for basically the case, because we're just trying to patch it till Arrow Lake shows up and we can finish the new video editing machine. It's also in a different location rather than the studio where I do the stream type stuff. And yeah, just hang around, watch, and like, comment, subscribe, tell me that kind of stuff if you think it's crazy, or have you ever fallen into the update trap where you end up with a superior machine because you did build it yourself, but on the other hand, it took a lot of time, a lot more time now than it would have back in the day when I was building computers. It's just, I'm not good at this stuff anymore, but I think you'll still have something out of it. At least you get the chuckle out of it, if nothing else, and something to criticize if that's how you get your job. Just be nice about it, because we all go through our stages of life. This one's mine. Well, I think we have everything set, and I want you to notice what I was talking about. Someone recently made the statement that size matters, and it does in most cases, especially when you're talking about PC cases, because we have to make sure we can fit. Now, both of these two birthing persons boards are regarded as micro ATX boards. Okay, now this one I call, for lack of a better word, a 4-hole, and this one an 8-hole. Not because I'm a genius, but because I can count to 8. It uses the same 4 on this board, but it uses an additional 4. 1, 2, I think there's the 4th one there, and the 3rd one is right here. The processor we'll use is in fact this i7. It's 2 generations back, soon to be 3. It's a 12. Now this is what I spent some money on instead of going with the other board, and I forget if the other board was more expensive or not, but the memory that I have will go here out of this one. To populate 32 gigs here, it would be about 120, the cheapest I can find for single-sided 7200. So I would lose the, say, 70 or 80, let's call it 80, and then the 120, so that would be $200 to use the DDR5 version of this board. I'm sticking with 4. That allows me to then pick up for an M.2 1 terabyte drive, which goes in here. Now I've already got it assembled, and I'll probably just go ahead and bring it down low, down in this spot, so I can mount that in there and show you this really, really tiny screw. I don't know if it's going to show up on camera. I'm looking in the monitor. It's not showing up very good. I think I'll take a little bit of a divergence here and put the processor in. We look down here in this corner, there is a little bit of a triangle to indicate which way it goes. Now they all go together. We're going to drop it right in, just sits right in there. No force it, and be very careful, because this is these two parts you can ruin them both at the same time. And now we'll use the 0 insertion and bring it down and click it over. There we go. And that should be properly inserted. Now there are some brackets that people will buy. I have one, but because I'm looking maybe to upgrade this in the future when prices drop a little bit more, now that we're on to the new socket, the new Core Ultras, I expect these will continue to fall, and I may upgrade this into a 14th generation i9 at some point in time. Now here is our little memory drive. It's M.2, and of course I used this particular heatsink. I like the way it was constructed, and this is a no-name that I picked up for pretty cheap. Now we have a little notch on the bottom. I don't know if I can show you that without putting some white behind it, but there is a little bit of a notch on this side, and we can align it with a little red part on the sticker here for the M.2. If I can see how to put it in there. So when we get it in, we bring it down, it should sit on that post. And I'll go ahead and put the screw in off camera so you don't have to see me fumble with it.
A few moments later.
With quite a bit of fiddling that's embarrassing to me later, we did get this inserted in and the screw down. That is such a tiny screw and I just can't see hardly to hit it. This is the slot for the video card and it should just clear that. I won't know till I actually give it a try. If it doesn't work, I'll have to put it down here on this slot. Now the thing is, this one is running off the chipset. This one runs off of the CPU, so I would prefer this M.2 run off the CPU for efficiency. Now, for the Wi-Fi, this one is a Wi-Fi capable board, but I don't have Wi-Fi on it. I did buy an Amazon. This is an Intel chip, and it will go right in here across the same way. You put the card in, the M.2 in, and lower it down into position. And we'll have to add to the end here. Let me show you. We'll have to pull our antenna jacks to the outside on that, and I think I'll do that off camera. Well, we managed to get that in there despite our decrepit state of affairs. Now I don't want to lose my little screws.
A few moments later.
Well, that was only a little embarrassing. Now I saw something online that said that this board, or maybe another one like it, could not do Wi-Fi and Bluetooth using the M.2 slot. I thought, that doesn't sound right. This one does. But if it doesn't work, we can always go back to using our little Bluetooth dongle. I have to put the memory in. Now the memory should go in, and one side of this will kick back. And according to the documentation, if I have one stick, as they call it, one DIMM, it will go in this B2 slot here. If I have two, and I put them in the A2 and B2. And if I had four, I'd populate all of them. So while I still have this out on a hard surface, and I've got the back side of the board protected by that gray padding that came with the board, I'm going to go ahead and put it in there. Now, you can't put these in there backwards because of the position of the notch. See where that notch is? Because if I turned it around the other way and we try to put it in, it would be offset that way. And so you can't really do that incorrectly, and when you push it in, it should go ahead and click. Again, I usually get on top of this. There we go. That one went. And I'll do the same for this one, catching the A2 slot. Excuse me. I like to go ahead and print off from my manual what my pinouts are so I don't have to fight with them, because as you can probably see, I can't see well enough to read the edge of the board very well. So I have to count over and look at the document, explode the document, find out where my stuff is, make some notes. Now, the old case is old enough, and this board here, the old H110M, it didn't have a USB-C. So I bought a kit. See, gigabps, little letters, so that's gigabits per second. All right, so it's 4 times faster is the point. So here's a little end of the case device, bought off of Amazon again. It's a USB-C, just one of them. I'll find a slot in the back, and I have a connection for it right here. Now I figured that out, even though I have a little vision troubles with these things, because I printed this off and I tried to allocate everything to make sure I could actually mate this board to that case. And what I discovered is, of course, I have the power switch and hard drive LED, the reset switch down in this corner. That's fine. I have down here the high definition audio on this side of the board. That's not a problem. I've located the CPU fan, what we'll use when we put this guy back on that cooler. It goes on, and then I have another one for another fan or a water pump. And if I replace the cooler fan in the very back of the case, I may put it on right here, PWM, so that when the CPU increases its heat, the cooler increases its fan, and the fan that's only about that far away from it will increasingly pull the air, so those two will work in tandem. I now have down here on the bottom, let's see which ones are they. This one, number 17, I have it done in green. I don't know if it'll show up with this much light. This one and number 24 are my two front fans, one top, one bottom. I can control those independently with this main board. Right in here, these spots, these and this right here are the SATA drive for the data connection, and the power connection we already saw when I put that power supply in. We also have two type 3.0s here, the old blue type. Now, I don't have a thing for that except for in the top part of the front panel, so that one's occupied. But with this, these are 4 type A's. Okay, or the white ones. You see the white, the color actually means something. We have different between the colors on the little insulator here in the picture. So this is something bought off Amazon, only $5 a piece, bought 2 for $10. And here's the other one. I wish they were black instead of this kind of gray, but they also didn't have white, so I guess nobody's going to be happy. But we have 2 different type of connectors for this old school, which are here and here. So that'll reach the back of the case as well. So I'll have, I believe, every USB 2.0, 3.0, and Type C available. So I should have enough ports to connect everything up that I want to connect. Well, I'm going to truncate this video. I had a bunch of sections in there, but it's like pasting the cooler and mounting the board. I had an issue with the standoffs and how they went to the box. I had orders a new ones, set of new ones, but they're wrong thread. And I'm just going to skip all that and the wiring and the plugging of the stuff in. I think the most important part I can bring you is the different viewpoint coming from an engineer and not a gamer. I'm not putting gamers down, but you can spend hundreds and hundreds of hours looking at video cards to match with what games under what engines and why this works better with that one. And right now even AMD is making excuses why they fail to meet the hype that they're putting out there at the same time that Intel's getting attacked. It's because all of that is circumstantial. I want to look kind of at the hardware and where you might spend your money and get bang for it. Now, stepping up from SATA NANDs to the M.2s helps the I/O significantly on the editor side, and it also, with the GPU stepping up a factor of cores on the 3060, which isn't even current technology. They've got a new AI chip, and I just don't know that I need a bunch of AI to rasterize my videos. So you can end up overpaying for a lot of stuff that you may not be getting bang for the buck. And we can talk about push-pulls and aluminum versus copper and water versus all this other stuff any other time. But it's just a lot of that's already there. I wanted to concentrate on how I think when trying to select a board. And like I said, this is just an interim machine. We're not going to get the Core Ultras available until maybe November. They say October, but I'll trust it when I see it. And on that one, yeah, I'm going to put the fastest memory I can get in it, and I'm going to build it up because that one should hold for a while. And with that big case, it should be able to put anything in it I want to in the future. So let's just wrap this up. And I do want to show you a little bit on airflow. Well, with the graphics card in place, let's look at that airflow one more time. I've got one fan down here, one fan here. These are like 90 CFM at high speed thermal takes. They're wired into different ports down here, so I'll be able to control them a little bit better. So I can push through the drive bay this way across the power supply to the exit over here. This one will also work right very well across that. I don't expect a Gen 4 to get particularly warm, but it does blow across the air-cooled 3060. This does pull in this area around here. Hopefully the clear fan will give us enough air pull around the V or M so that we don't get too hot there. And this is stirring up a little bit of airflow inside, although hopefully it's all going toward the door. So we'll have to try it, see if it even boots. Hey, appreciate you watching. Do me a favor if you will, subscribe to the channel, either the YouTube or the Rumble channel, which this appears in. And if you can, check the notification bell or settings to make sure that you get notified when new videos are posted. Appreciate it.